Today we're making a Burmese-style pork curry. Great dish for cold and flu season. It's got tons of ginger in it, which, as we know, really helps with immunity. And it also has garlic and onions, both really good for us when we have a cold. Now, I did have a little bit of video problems before, so part of what I recorded didn't record. Let me just do a quick recap of what should have been recorded and wasn't. What did I do? I took a 1/4 cup of ginger root, slicing against the grain, sliced very thinly, about a 1/4 cup, so about this much ginger root, added into a small bowl here, and I added hot water to it just to cover the ginger. It's quite a bit of ginger, but the hot water really makes it mild and gives a nice flavor. What else have I done? I've chopped up about 5 kilos of pork roast. It's a lean pork roast, and just into, reasonably small pieces, bite-sized pieces if you will. If there's extra fat on the roast, just trim that off, but this is a pretty lean one. You can use a very lean cut of meat here because we're going to be simmering it for a period of time, about 45 minutes in water. This is a nice dish because it uses water rather than coconut milk. Great when you have a cold and you don't want anything thick and fatty, and also, of course, fewer calories from the fat. Alright, so we're going to move over to start cooking this now. I'm going to add the pork, the curry paste, some brown sugar. We're going to cook it together in a pot and get things started. We have our pot, it's warming up here. To the pot I'm going to add our pork. Perfect. I'm also going to add about 2 tablespoons of red curry paste, Thai red curry paste. This is a bit of a combination of an Indian and Thai style curry. So you've got the Thai curry paste, but the water cooking that you would use maybe in an Indian dish, so appropriately enough for a Burmese style dish. The more curry paste you may put in, of course, the spicier it's going to be. We're also to that going to add brown sugar. We're going to add about a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So I'm just going to loosely add my brown sugar. I'm not going to be too worried about measuring, but I would say that maybe a good 3 tablespoons is going to be my 1/4 cup. And a little bit more, why not? Alright, we're going to stir that up to combine everything and get the pork coated thoroughly with that curry paste. We want to blend the curry paste, the sugar, that mixture up. Doesn't even have to start cooking yet. We just want to combine it. Now, if you want to do this in advance, you could easily combine this together in a mixing bowl, put it in the fridge, let it marinate for the day, and then throw it on cooking when you get home. The marinating would give extra flavor, of course. Alright. So now, we'll let the pan heat up and brown that pork. Okay, while the pork is starting to cook, we're going to get 2.5 cups of water. To that, I'm going to add some turmeric. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of turmeric. Don't be shy with the turmeric. It's going to give it a nice color. Just gonna add even a little bit more. I'm also going to add some dark soy sauce. If you just have regular soy sauce, that's fine too. We're going to put in about 1 teaspoon of it. There. Soy sauce, our turmeric. Perfect. You can hear that the pork has started to cook and it's rendering a little bit of the fat. That's great. We're just going to stir that up a little bit, let it brown. While this is cooking, we can prepare the shallots and the garlic. Shallots are never easy to do. They're a milder onion. You can actually just replace it with a white onion if you don't have a shallot. The problem with shallots, they're really tricky to peel. It's just a little fussy to get the peel off. So we just need to pull at it a little bit. Not too bad, but regular onions are easier to manage. Okay, and we're just going to very finely slice these shallots. Good. We're going to do that for both shallots. Now we're going to do our garlic. This garlic is actually a organic garlic that I got from the farmer's market. It's nice. Unfortunately, it's my last 2 cloves. Okay, we have about 2 tablespoons of garlic there. I've just added it to my shallots. I'll put that aside. We're now ready to add the broth mixture to our pork. Okay, the pork is getting nice and browned. It's certainly not cooked all the way through, but we wouldn't want to cook it any more than this. We're just going to add the water to this. I'm going to stir it a little bit first because often I find the turmeric settles to the bottom. You don't get it all in. Just put it all in. It should cover nicely. You might find that after cooking for about 40 minutes, it starts to dry out. If that's the case, just add more water to keep it moist. You don't want it to dry out too much, and you want it to simmer on a medium to low heat for about 40 minutes. That will make sure this pork is nice and tender. Okay, the pork is simmering quite nicely and has reduced quite a bit. I've increased the heat. It's been about 45 minutes. I've increased the heat to let more of that water reduce. In the meantime, I'm going to just juice this lime. We want a good lime worth of juice. Now, another option instead of using the lime juice is you could use the kaffir lime leaves, as I've shown you how to do in previous videos with the red Kai curry and such. This is an alternate if you don't have the kaffir lime leaves, and it works really well for this. Or, you know what, you could do both. This has been simmering for about 50 minutes now. The amount of time that you need to simmer this is going to depend upon the shape of the pot. The wider the pot, the less time you're going to need. But I've been simmering this at quite a low heat. The result is that the meat is quite tender. I can easily cut it with this spoon, which is great. Alright, we're going to dump in our shallots and our ginger. Alright, the ginger, garlic, shallots are all in. And lime juice. And now we want to give it a stir. This is going to cook for about 5 or 10 more minutes. It'll reduce a little bit more and the flavors will blend. Yeah. I think it needs a little bit more lime juice. I just happen to have a little bit of this stuff here. I'm going to put a little bit more in. It needs to have a bit more of acidity to it. You want to make sure that you can taste the sourness of the lime juice, some salt, some heat, and the sweetness of the sugar. If you can't distinctly taste each of those things, then add either a little bit more sugar, a little bit more lime juice, a little salt, or soy sauce. Now that's much better. Now I've got the balance. I've got the salt, a little bit of saltiness, I've got some heat, definitely from the curry paste, I've got some acidity from the limes. It's really nicely balanced. It's got a bit of a kick too. So you might not, if you don't like the spice, maybe don't use quite so much curry paste. I'll make a note in the recipe that you can vary that. It's got a nice kick, especially with the acidity to it. Kind of works well with the heat. Alright, what you want to do, simmer this for about 5 more minutes or so, and then serve it on top of rice. If you want to thicken it down, it is a bit soupy right now. If you want to simmer it for a little bit longer and to thicken, that's great. It'll be a nice, thick, hearty curry. Enjoy.